إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم Please recite salawat all together.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
For the love of Aba Abdullah, please say another salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
And as it's Thursday night, for the love of Imam Zaman, salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajahum.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين باعث الأنبياء والمرسلين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا وحبيبنا وحبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
سيما بقية الله الأعظم حجة ابن الحسن أرواحنا وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء. For reappearance of Imam Zaman, salawat. صل على محمد واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم وظالميهم ومنكري فضائلهم. لعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقال الله الحكيم في كتابه المبين وهو أصدق القائلين وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين. صلوات. First of all, I would like to say condolences to all mu'mineen mu'minat in the city for the tragedy of Ashura and Karbala. And it is my honor to be once again within Mu'mineen in Seattle. And I always feel to be at home whenever I come to Seattle. And second, that today it's my honor to be in the presence of our dear brother Hujjatul Islam Maulana Abbas Elia. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, and may Allah give community in Seattle and rest of the places to take real benefits of his presence. Please say salawat all together. Tonight is night of Thursday, and after recitation of Dua Kumail, hearts are purified and souls are purified, minds are ready. It is a great honor for Shia to have teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And Thursday night again is a night of revival. It is a night that we can shorten our sins. And Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have provided us the great treasure, that through that treasure we can be connected with the teachings of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Azadari and du'as. There are many treasures that Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have gifted us. We need to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for those greater gifts. Just imagine that if we don't have Azadari in our life, if we don't have dhikr of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in our life, so what else we will have? As we thank at the end of Ziyarat Ashura in Sajda, Allahumma lakal hamdu hamda shakirina ala musabihim. Allah, we thank you and praise you for the great blessing of this tragedy and that pain, which is pain of Islam. Mourning for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein is not a mourning for a person or a personality, but it is mourning for Islam. Azadari actually is Azadari for Quran, for the teachings of Islam. And this Azadari, it makes us be connected with the ocean of the knowledge of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Every year, this Azadari, it revises everything and it refreshes our souls. And we need to thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this great treasure that we are connected with. You can imagine the vacuum that is other side. Those who do not have this musibat, those who do not have that Azadari. Just try to imagine sometime if we don't have Dua Kumail, if we don't have Zikr of Abu Abdullah, if we don't have Ziyarat of Aimma alayhimus salam, if we don't shed those tears in our life, this ishq and love with Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, it fills our hearts and mind. And we are thankful for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Today, I would like to start for 3 days, inshallah, the days that I have. I would like to speak about the lessons of Ashura. Of course, after Ashura, we need to remind ourselves and think a little bit what we have learned from Ashura. There are many lessons that one learns from Ashura, but I would like to select few and speak in these 3 days that I am in your service, inshallah. Please say salawat one more time. I have begun with one of the verses from Surah Mubarakah Baqarah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has spoken with the believers by saying, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O those who believe. And the address of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's a really honorable address to mu'mineen. That when Allah speaks with the believers by saying, O those who believe, that means He has given an honor to the mu'mineen by addressing them with this great address, O those who believe. Ista'inu, seek help. Bis-sabri was-salah. Seek help from two important qualities. One is patience, and second is prayer. And at the end, Quran has said, Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. Surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with the people, those who steadfast. Dear brothers and sisters, when we look at the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Iman, it becomes base of any help that we'd like to seek in our life from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any action that we'd like to do in our life, belief is a foundation for that. If we do not have belief, then commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are not going to be towards us. Iman provides the foundation that we can seek help from our qualities. It provides us a great opportunity that we can train ourselves according to what Allah has asked. Two different qualities that have been said, although every human being has many qualities. We have many practices in our life. We have Hajj, we have Zakat. Of course, we have many other practices that we do in our life. And Islam is a religion that is a comprehensive religion and full of the duties. Islam is a religion that gives the guidance to the mankind from time to time, day and night. You cannot say that there is any vacuum. There is any blank that you have to fill. You cannot say that there is a gap where you don't have any answer in Islam. Islam is a religion that provides you guidance in every aspect of the life. Every aspect of the life. That is why it's called as a comprehensive religion. But when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking believers that you need to seek help, but seek help from two qualities in your life. Ista'inu. So we are not being asked to seek help from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not being asked to seek help from Quran. We are not being asked to seek help from Kaaba, for example. But these are two qualities of a human being. One is quality as-sabr, and second quality that is as-salat. Any action that we take in our life, if that is for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that action itself, it has a value. Its value is going to be with our sincerity, with our intention, and with the purpose that we are making that action. But still it's our action. When we do any action, at that time it becomes our action. What it means that when I like to pray, or you like to pray, it's your prayer. When you like to be patient, at that time it's your quality. If you do not make that quality happen, if you don't act according to that, it's not going to exist. That means a prayer is our prayer. If prayer is our prayer, then its value is going to be according to the person who is praying. If a general person is going to pray, then it's going to be, ordinary person is going to pray, then it's going to be according to that. If a abid or zahid person is going to pray, then it's going to be according to that. If a mujtahid performs the prayer, his prayer is going to be according to his understanding, his sincerity, his connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So value of action is according to the person who is performing. Then we can say that performer of an action is important than action. Isn't that correct? Because in a hadith it's been said, the principle it's been said, fa'ilul khayri khayrun minhu wa amilu sharri sharrun minhu. A person who performs any good deed, that person is better than that good deed. Although it's been said, as-salatu amududdin. Prayer is pillar of religion. Yes, prayer in its origin, it's pillar of religion. But when it comes in my life, it's my prayer. When it comes to your life, it becomes your prayer. When it goes and becomes part of the life of an imam, then it becomes imam's prayer. And when it becomes part of the life of Prophet, then that is prayer of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the value of any prayer, it's going to be according to the person. It's not going to be according to the prayer. Because fa'ilul khayr khayrun min. Anybody who performs any good deed, he is going to be better than that. The person who is steadfasting in his life, that person is going to be better than the sabr. Sabr is better than sabr. Musalli is better than salat. Isn't that correct? The person who performs the prayer is better than salat. So don't be worried about that. That if I'm saying the person is better than salat, of course it's evident that the person who performs, he is making this action happen. And if he was not being acting according to that, it was not existing. This action existed because of his action. So the value is going to be according to that as well. We have been asked that ista'inu bis-sabri was-salat. You need to seek help from the patience and the prayer. That means we can seek help sometimes from our own qualities. Our own qualities can be helpful in our life. Sometimes I can ask my own qualities that help me. They can be supportive in my life. And if that is the case, then let us little bit think about that. If we can seek help from prayer itself, can't we seek help from the person who performs the prayer? If we can seek help from prayer itself, that is action of human being, then can we seek help from those who are performing the prayer? That means the musalli. So if we ask help from Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, because we say ashhadu annaka qad aqamta as-salat wa atayta az-zakat, because they have performed the prayer in its best performance. And their prayer, its value is going to be according to their personality, according to their sincerity, according to their understanding. And if prayer we can seek help from, then definitely we can ask help from those who are praying And when we can seek help from sabr itself, definitely we can seek help from sabir as well. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala concluded at the end. End of this verse and end of every verse, it is said that becomes conclusion. Our scholars and ulama and mufassirin, they say that when you like to see conclusion of the verse, then you need to see at the end of the verse, because end of the verse it speaks about a complete message. At the end it's not been said, Inna Allah ma'as sabr, Inna Allah ma'as salat. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. Surely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who are steadfast, who are patient, who are sabir. So we can also take benefit of that. We can say, Inna Allah ma'al musallin. Allah is with those who perform the prayer. And Allah is with those who are sabirin. Please say salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Now we need to see that how sabr can help in our life. What kind of help it can provide. How I can seek help from sabr. And sometimes if we just think what does it mean when we like to say sabr, most of the time the meaning that is being made and it's in our minds, we think that a tolerance of a person for the trials, for the difficulties, for the difficult circumstances, if somebody tolerated, that is going to be considered as sabr. But if we look at real sense to this verse says that you need to seek help from sabr. That means sabr is a power. It's ability. It's a great quality. It can help us for our greater purposes. To achieve greater purposes in our life, we can seek help from sabr. And very interestingly, that verse, when it speaks about those two qualities, it speaks about sabr first, and then it speaks about salat. Although salat is amududdin, pillar of religion, but we are not been asked that Ista'inu bis salati was sabr. But Quran said, Ista'inu bis sabri was salat. You need to seek help from patience and the prayer. Although our mufassirin, when they translated sabr, it's been said sabr, it means psalm. One of the images of sabr, one of the meaning of sabr, it's psalm. But definitely sabr itself is general than psalm. One of the meanings it can be psalm. It's not whole meaning. Sabr helps mankind. And according to the hadith of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, it is said that sabr can be in three circumstances, in three different circumstances. One of these circumstances that has been said, as-sabru ala ta'ah, as-sabru ala salasati anwa'. There are three kinds of sabr. As-sabru ala ta'ah. In order to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one needs to be patient. One of the steadfasting, in order to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Somebody needs to wake up in a cold weather, in the morning, in the winter, get ready for the prayer, and pray early in the morning, leaving the sleep, leaving the bed, getting ready for the prayer. Sometimes it's hot weather, and one needs to get ready for fasting. In order to perform and obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a sabr is required. A patience is required. Although sometimes we think that fasting in hot weather, in summer, it's difficult. But it is narrated about one of the great personalities, mother of Hazrat Isa, Hazrat Maryam Salamullahi alayha, that she says that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would have provided me another life, I would love to do two actions in my life. One, that she said, in winter, standing during the nights of the winter to pray for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We think that it's difficult. When we love with the prayer, when somebody is not going to think about the prayer that it's a restriction, when somebody does not view the prayer as one of the rulings, but thinks that prayer, it is communication between me and my Lord. Prayer is a communication that provides me opportunity that I can speak with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As in hadith it is said that when you like to communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, at that time you need to pray. And when you like that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to communicate with you, then you need to read Quran. Recitation of Quran is communication from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So there are two types of the calls. One is incoming call, and second is outgoing call. Incoming call is Quran. Recite Quran if you like that Allah speaks with you. So Quran speaks with us. Sometimes we need to read Quran in such a way that we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking with me. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَالِكِ النَّاسِ. Once we read Quran, a book that was revealed 14th century before and revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, as a book of history, it's not going to be beneficial. Once we read Quran that it speaks with me, it's asking me. That is why Ahlul Bayt ﷺ used to read Quran as a live Quran, not a history. Not a history. Imam Mujtaba used to read Quran as it's live. He is receiving something from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is said that when he used to read those verses, Ya ayyuhalladina amanu, at that time he would reply, Labbaik, O my Lord, you are asking me something, I'm ready to listen to you. Quran has to become live in our lives. It should not be a book of history. It should not be something that is for the previous people. But it should not be for only one individual. Quran is being sent down for us, for every human being. Please say salawat. And same it should be when we like to pray. Once a person is repeating the actions, every day he repeats something. Prayer is not repetition of actions. It's not repetition of actions. But every prayer is a new action. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَكُلَّ يَوْمٍ هُوَ فِي شَأْنٍ. Every day it comes with a new quality. And in the life of a mu'min also, prayer has to be a new prayer. It cannot be repeated something. We cannot repeat anything. Do you think that time repeats itself? Or do you think that every day it comes a new day? Every minute it comes a new minute. Every hour is a new hour. Whatever it is past, it's past. Any majlis cannot be a repetition. So I said to many, sometimes our youth, they may think that we come every year and same thing is being repeated. No, it's not same thing. Every year it's new. Every year it's new message. Because previous year cannot be repeated this year. It's not possible. Every year comes with its own quality. And every time we listen to majlis, there is new majlis. So do you think that you eat every day and repeat eating? You know, we have dinner every day, of course. We have lunch every day. We have breakfast every day. Do we think that we repeat that breakfast? No. Each time we eat, it's new. Same should be Quran. Whenever we read Quran, it's fresh message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like now Allah is speaking with me. And whenever I stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying Allahu Akbar, that means now I started speaking with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the meanings of salat, although it's been taken from origin of dua, but according to our Urafa, one of the meanings of salat, it's from sila, as we have sila rahim. Sila, that means communication. Regarding relation, we have a relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sila, that means regarding our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Prayer is regard towards our relation with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's like when you like to dial a number and then it rings, and once it's connected, establishment of connection. When we say قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, قَدْ قَامَتِ الصَّلَاةِ, now communication is established. I'm standing for the prayer. That means I have started speaking with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So brothers and sisters, there can be two views for our practices, obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Once we look at those laws and obligations as a restriction, definitely that view is going to cause difficulties. But once we look at all those rulings as a blessing in our life, prayer becomes as a blessing. Recitation of Quran becomes a communication. Both are communication towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please say salawat. So the patience and sabr, it helps me that I can be obedient. That means it provides me a strength. It provides me a push that I can stand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sabr, it helps me that I can be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and every day I can increase obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sabrun ala ta'a. Second kind of the sabr that Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam have said, that is sabrun alal ma'asiyah. When we come close to any sin, we like to commit a sin. At that time, this sabr helps us. Help of sabr, at that point, it can be seen. Somebody can try in their life and observe sabr and see how sabr it helps. Sometimes there is a question that how we can overcome on our desires. So living in a country that is full of the desires. Living in a country which is full of the desires. So those type of questions that sometimes arises. What we need to do in order to control our desires, in order to control our shahwat. Is there any medicine? Of course, if you go to doctor, are they going to give you any medicine for that? Is there any hospital exist for that? That what you can do in order to control yourself. There is no hospital. But Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim have provided prescription for that. What you need to do. How you can overcome on your desires. This question is answered. In order to overcome on the desires, Ahlul Bayt al-Muslim said, you need to fast. Fasting is one of the best practice. If any youth like to see how it benefits in our life, how it's going to help us, that we can overcome on our disobedience, on our sins, controlling the sins. It makes our willpower stronger. A strong willpower is required for a mu'min. A mu'min has a strong willpower. Its willpower is kind of willpower that mountain can shake from its place, but mu'min is not going to move from its place. Iman of a mu'min should be like a mountain or stronger than mountain, because there can be sometime earthquake, there can be volcanoes, and because of volcanoes these mountains can be destroyed, but Iman of mu'min cannot be destroyed. It has to be firm, and firmness of Iman is with patience. It's sabr that helps us, that we can be stronger, we can overcome. And you can start practicing. You can see benefits of that if you are. So during month of Ramadan, of course, we practice. We all know about that. One of the reasons that month of Ramadan is being considered as month like paradise, a month of heaven, because that is the month that majority of the people in this world, they become obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And majority of people, they are away from any type of sin and disobedience. So what it means, that in a place where there is only obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and there is no sin, that place becomes place of paradise. That's like a heaven. And our teacher Ayatullah Jawadi Amali Hafazahullah has said that Jamhuri Islami is like month of Ramadan. Very interesting example. He said Jamhuri Islami is like month of Ramadan. As in month of Ramadan, sins are shortened and obedience is increased. In Islamic Republic also, sins are shortened and obedience is being increased. So as month of Ramadan becomes like a month of heaven, Islamic Republic also becomes a place of heaven. And this can be anywhere else as well. In a small community, wherever we live. If in a community where there is obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's increased, and disobedience is being decreased, that community will become community of heaven. If in a family there are disobedience that has been decreased and obedience has been increased, that family becomes family of heaven. Please say salawat. That is why sometimes it is said that sitting in a masjid, julus in a masjid, is better than sitting in paradise. Why? Because we sit in masjid with our willingness for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we go to the paradise, that is going to be forced by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Is going to ask that you have to go in paradise. So over there is no willingness. We are not going to go with our intention, but we will be sent towards paradise. Any action that is with the willingness and intention, that is valuable before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So julus fil masjid, it's better than sitting in paradise. And Hazrat Fizza Salamullah alayha used to say that working in the house of Fatimatu Zahra is better than being in paradise. For her, that house was like paradise, because she was working with the angels. She was working with the masters of the angels. She was working in a house where angels will stop on that door. She was working where angels were being revealed. She was working in a house where verses of Quran were being sent down. She was working in a house where master of Jibreel and Mikael lives. There is a house where even Israel stands outside and seeks permission to enter to this house. That house becomes better than paradise, better than any other place in this world. So brothers and sisters, second kind of patience is as-sabru al-ma'asiyah. And third type of sabr, as-sabru al-musibah. Steadfasting for the tragedies, for musibat, for the trials. Yes, it's helpful. Ista'inu bis sabr. You need to seek help from sabr. Seeking help whenever any difficulty comes. At that time, be like a mountain. Stand against the difficulties. Move forward. Do not stop. Take steps. Cross any difficulty. Overcome on any tragedy. And be victorious. Achieve victories. Even death is one of the difficulty. But sometimes we need to see death, how we can kill that death. Shaheed Mutahhari Rizwanullah Ta'ala alayhi said that a shaheed with his blood kills the death and crosses the death and enters to the heaven. Sometimes one can remove that difficulty, the death, and enter to the easiness. Achieve one of the most important status of shahadat. Difficulties should not stop us. Tragedies should not be an obstacle, but tragedies should be one of the tools that we can get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Difficulties are like night, brothers and sisters. Let me give an example. That sometimes night, it starts. When it begins, at that time there is still light, and then darkness starts overcoming. Then it becomes to the midnight. When it's midnight, of course, it's completely dark. Nothing can be seen. But midnight has a message. Message of midnight that it's getting close to the dawn. It's getting close to the dawn. And as time is going to pass, it is going to reach to the point that is going to be point of the dawn. When difficulties and tragedies are going to be on its peak point, that is the time that we receive another message that dawn is closer. We are close to the Fajr. We are close to the time that is being promised. In Karbala, we see one of the most important tragedies in the world. Most important tragedies. That you cannot compare any tragedy in this world with this tragedy. As when our sixth Imam speaks about that day, he says like that. Imam says, La yawma ka yawmika ya Aba Abdullah. There is no day in this world like your day on the day of Ashura. That day was a day of tragedy. A day of tragedy, full of the tragedies. But you can see a mountain standing on the day of Ashura. A firm personality standing against any tragedy that can come. In the morning he starts with dua. You know, tonight is night of dua. Abu Abdullah started his day of Ashura with the dua. He said, Ya thiqati fi raja'i, Ya uddati fi shiddati. You know, this dua, it helps us in tragedies. When one is surrounded in the tragedies, at that time, raising hands before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh, the only hope for me in the difficulties. Ya uddati fi shiddati. When circumstances become difficult, at that time you are the only help for me. I don't look at any other help. That is the only help that I can have. Sometimes when he likes to send Ali Akbar, at that time it becomes difficult for Abu Abdullah. Yes, it was difficult. But the one he gave a quicker permission, that was Ali Akbar. You can ask from ulama, you can look at Maqtal and read the Maqtal. Any other Mujahid, when he came asking for permission, our Mawla Abu Abdullah waited for a while. Qasim came. It is said when he was standing in front of Abu Abdullah Hussain, Imam took Qasim in his lap and he started hugging and kissing Qasim. Sometimes he was kissing his lips. Sometimes he was kissing his hands. And he asked from Qasim, "Oh Qasim, I don't like that you go for the war. For any other Mujahid, Imam alayhi salatu wasalam waited for a while. But only the one he has given a quicker permission, that was Ali Akbar." But when he gave permission, it became difficult for Abu Abdullah. At that time he raises his hand before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying, "Allahumma ashhad ala ha'ula'i al-qawm allazina baraza alayhim ashbahu an-nas khalqan wa khulqan wa mantaqan bi Rasulillah." Oh Allah, now you be witness, I'm sending the one who is the most example with the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his image is like image of Prophet. Wherever I want to see the face of Prophet, peace be upon him, I would see Ali Akbar. I don't know, on the day of Ashura, in the morning of Ashura, Abu Abdullah al-Hussein called Ali Akbar by saying, "Oh Ali Akbar, you should say Adhan today." Maybe one of the reasons that Imam wanted to listen Adhan of Prophet, peace be upon him. Another difficult time, that after that Imam alayhi said, "Now every tragedy has become easier for me." You know what was that difficult time? That tragedy in the battlefield of Karbala was kind of tragedy that when I read some of the narration that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein remembered after his martyrdom as well, that was tragedy of Ali Asghar. That was tragedy of Ali Asghar. That when Imam gave water to Ali Asghar, that he was filled. I do not know how he was filled. I don't like to say, brothers and sisters, that how Ali Asghar was filled. But I can only say that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein took Ali Asghar in his hands and he started saying, "Bismillahi wa billahi wa fi sabilillahi." وعلى ملة رسول الله إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. He said, رضا بقضائه وتسليما لأمره. So that is one of the sabirin in this earth. That is one of the sabirin. That after that Imam said, now any difficulty that it comes to me, it has become easier for me, because I have given one of the sacrifices that was one of the most difficult sacrifices in my life. And that is what he remembered after his martyrdom. Shi'ati ma in sharibtum ma adbin fadkuruni, ma in sami'tum bi gharibin aw shahidin fandubuni. He said, Kayfa astasqi li tifli fa'abaw an yarhamuni. Can you remember as I was asking the water for Ali Asghar? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wa sayalamu alladhina zalamu ayyamun qalami yanqalibun. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma arzuqna shafa'at al-Husayn يوم الورود وثبت لنا قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين
وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام. اللهم ارزقنا زيارة قبر الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام. اللهم اشف صدر الحسين بظهور الحجة. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وعافنا واعفو عنا في الدنيا والآخرة إنك على كل شيء قدير.
Ya Hussein, 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 Abbas, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein,